Blessings, 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 triple blessings, and Godspeed. Little daily download, little nugget for the day. Remember, we're not attaching to anything. We're not grasping anything and attaching to it with full identity, but we're also not averting anything too. There's no aversion either. The realization is this, part of the realization is this, that the Most High, the great I am that I am, God unmanifest, God is spirit, but God also manifests too. And the realization gives us freedom and liberation in that understanding and in that flow. It gives us the freedom and the liberation to experience unmanifest and manifest, spirit into form, formless into form simultaneously. And it doesn't necessarily deny any of it. Now, it has to have the realization and know that form is not the completion of the formless. Form is not the fullness of the formless. It has to know that the manifestation is not the fullness of the unmanifest. Of course, that realization and that knowing has to be there. But that realization and that knowing does not negate or push away, right, or avert the experience that the consciousness is having. And I don't know if this helps anyone, but I know it helped me when this realization happened by grace. I was confused with some of the teachings of my teachers for a while until I got to certain levels in consciousness by the grace and certain realizations where I was like, oh, both could be true. So many things are true when you get to certain elevations of things. There's many things. Two things could be true. Multiple things could be true. Both things could be true. It's not as much duality. There's not duality at that level. There's more of unity and harmony. So as I started to understand harmony and balance and unity in consciousness, it gave more understanding to those teachings and those koans and those phrases. Because the first thing the mind wants to do is go, well, I don't want to attach anything. So when the mind has it, it goes, well, then forget everything then, right? Forget it, right? And I'm not saying that might not be a season or experience. That's allowed too. But then you'll realize that you can't deny certain experience within the body form. You can't deny it that way. Now, it could be transcended, but you can't deny it, because then you're like, well, then I still feel this in my body and all these things. And then you can't avert that too. So you have to be able to understand the middle way, the narrow way, the golden path, the middle road, the narrow road. Right? All the Christ and Buddha say it, right? It's the narrow road in the middle, right? The narrow path, the golden path. Neutrality of that, harmony, right? Balance of the unmanifest and the manifest, sitting in the middle of both, but access to both, access to the formless as being the form, the formless, and access to form as experiencing form, being the formless, but experiencing the form, being the unmanifest, but experiencing the manifest. And there's this harmony when it comes together, when the whole recipe and the ingredients come together like a good cake that the mind was trying to separate the whole time. And it can't be rushed and it can't be forced by the mind. Trust me, we all try. We all go through that, especially depending on our temperaments and how we're wired. But ultimately speaking, the grace within us, that is us, the effortlessness of the isness of the great I am as we are, experiences this way, starts to see this way, and then all the teachings start to light up and make sense. And then we're no longer in denial, but we're also not in attachment. There's this middle way, this middle road that we're in, this neutrality that the mind doesn't normally like, but the mind has been transcended at this point now to where it doesn't matter what it likes, because the mind loves either attachment or denying. It loves to judge something, or it loves to love something. It has to push, it has to make it like that. So it hates that space. It makes that space seem like it's tasteless, like it's non-existence, but it's actually the highest existence. The middle. Praise be the Most High. Great I am that I am. Blessings, blessings, and Godspeed.